right, so we're gonna teach the squat. Everyone's a little bit, touchy about the squat. So I've never squatted, man. I was scared. Every time I did something, my knees would hurt or my hips would hurt, and I held the buoy for a long time. And squatting wasn't good for you, but it's actually, if your knees hurt, it's how you're squatting is what's making your knees hurt. So hopefully we can fix that for you today. Now, Catherine here, what we're gonna do is first, most important is find your active range of motion. A lot of people say that you have to be in the hole, and which that means all the way to the bottom, ass to grass, however you want to call it. You don't need to be in order to get a full squat. Now, working on your range of motion and flexibility so you can get there is important. So eventually you want to try to get there. Now, it's about progression. So, Catherine, turn to the side here. Now, easiest way to find your range of motion is how high can you possibly go up here without this happening and that curve happening. So myself, I'm gifted a little bit with flexibility. And so I can get my knee all the way up here. So I can come in the hole. My abs are still tight, my posture's still good, there's no rounding in the back. Now, on the other side, here, it's a little tighter. So as you can see, what happens? My back rounds not as high. So my real active range of motion is gonna be right about there. So a little bit less than my left side, but we wanna go off the right side. And a lot of you will start to notice is if you actually start to go, so I have more flexibility here, I'll start twisting at the bottom. That's gonna create a lot of tension and torque that you don't want, so don't force yourself into those positions. Now, back to Catherine, she's gonna find her active range of motion. So that's where we're going here. All right, so we're good. So she can get, right there. See how that rounded? And now we're straight again, there we go. So her active range of motion is actually just gonna be about 90 degrees. All right, so turn the other side. Okay, go ahead and try to find it. So she's actually a little better on her left side too, so. One more time. Arm up. Come a little higher. Rounding, a little lower, flat again. Okay, so we're gonna come 90 degrees so her right side is going good. Now, another thing that we'll go over later is like, you can end up doing like one-legged squats, pistol squats, all those lunges will help get the flexibility movement on the other side. And it's usually, the other side is usually weaker because one, you're usually right hand or left hand dominant, and two, it's tighter. Tighter equals weaker. So, into the squat, what we do is we like to start with body weight first, okay? Back to posture basics, we're gonna screw our feet into the ground. So when she does that, we have full activation of the glutes, her posture's good. What we wanna shoot for is a little bit of hip flexions. We wanna bring that lower ab tight a little bit right before we start squatting. So that's gonna, yeah.
One way to do that is breathe out all the way. A lot of people, what they do is they breathe, take a breath in, and they end up getting an arch. So if you make sure first your feet are set.
So
this is what people do when they breathe in. So to prevent that posture, what you want to do is breathe in, breathe out all the way, and keep this tight. So then when I breathe in again, nothing moves through my abs or my glutes.
Yeah, perfect. Couldn't say any better. So at that point, what we like to shoot for is a little knee break first. Now there's different groupings of people who like to squat. A lot of powerlifters actually like to hip break, and then the Polycanites and those people like to knee break first. So what we're gonna do when we knee break is split the floor again with the feet. And another way, if you can't figure out the feet, is turn your hips into the ground. That's an easier way to do it. That makes you tighten your glutes. So once we have that knee break, all we're doing is, yes, your knees can go past your toes. It's okay. So we're going straight up and down. Now, she's gonna just go ahead and get into a squat. And back up. Okay, so to the side. It's a little light on that one. Screw your feet in the ground. There we go. And back up. So now as you can see, she's not rounding at the bottom. It's called the butt wing because when you come a little low, go a little lower and show them what a butt wing looks like. See how it kind of kips right there? Now come back up. So we don't want the booty popping out. That's another class of lifters that like to do that. Like to come here and they go pop. We're not shooting for that. That's a dance move. So we're gonna shoot for a squat. We wanna activate the quads, we wanna activate the hamstrings, we wanna activate the glutes equally. So there'll be a few times when we tell you to elevate your heels, that'll actually help you get a little bit lower and a little lower into the hole, and all you do is put, you know, 5 pound, 2.5 pound plates under your heels and just make sure it's comfortable for you. So I'll show it a few times body weight wise. So I'm going from here, screwing my feet in the ground, my posture's tight. I break from the knees. Now my knees are tracking out over my toes, and I'm dropping into the squat here and then back up. Now, another thing that I'm focusing on is pushing the floor away from me. I'm not worried about stepping up. If I want to max and I want the most exertion, pushing something up, I want to push it down. So, again, tracking from there, driving through my heels. Now, you can rotate your tires is what we're going to call this. Ben Pekulski has taught this one to us, and it's simply all you have to do is on any leg movement, and we'll get into upper body later, is push different ways. Either push a little forward, push to the outside through your feet, push to the back, pull your heels together. What that's doing is it's creating different stress. If you stand up right now and you push to the outside, my quads slide up on the outside. That's how you work your sweep. Now, if you want to push to the inside, you can push to the inside. Difficulty with this one is make sure your toes are still tracking, you're spreading the floor. You're just dropping your knees in, and they're not dropping in, I should say. So back down here, back up. Now from the side, that's gonna look like this. Now if I go too low, because I don't have enough hip flexibility, we're coming here, we're gonna get that butt weight. We don't want that. So again, twisting the feet in the ground, knees break, nice and slow, and back up. Now, beautiful thing is if you are constantly spreading or constantly turning on the way down, you're not gonna drop. Now, what we don't want is heavy weight and momentum on your knees. So making sure that you come all the way down. If you're feeling frisky, you can get a pause and then come back up after that. So hopefully those will save you and teach you how to squat a little better.